George Russell's future at Red Bull has become a hot topic lately, thanks to a controversial remark from Christian Horner that ignited a debate with Toto Wolf. Surprisingly, this scenario might not be as far-fetched as it appears. With Mercedes having a rising talent in Antonelli expected to join in 2025, Russell's seat might come under serious scrutiny. If the young Italian manages to outperform Russell, it could open up the possibility for a major shift in the teams involved. Now, considering Max Verstappen's likely presence at Red Bull beyond 2026, could there be a major driver swap between him and Russell? And if that were to happen, who at Red Bull would shoulder the blame if the three-time world champion opts to leave? It's undeniable that George Russell is among the most skilled drivers on the current grid. Yet, even with his remarkable abilities, his spot in Mercedes post-2026 isn't a certainty. Toto Wolf has hinted at pairing Russell with Antonelli to tackle the new regulations. However, his ongoing pursuit of Verstappen and his statement about keeping Mercedes' doors open for him leaves room for speculating a massive shake-up in the lineup. Given that Verstappen seems almost guaranteed to stay with Red Bull beyond 2026, a swap involving Russell and Verstappen might not be completely out of the question. But if it happens, who would Red Bull hold responsible if their star champion decides to depart? George Russell has undoubtedly proven himself as one of the grid's most talented drivers. However, a secure seat at Mercedes after 2026 is still not a given. Toto Wolf has suggested that they would prefer a team-up of Russell and Antonelli under the new regulations. Yet, his ongoing pursuit of Verstappen, combined with statements that the door to Mercedes will always remain open for him, sparks speculation about a potential major reshuffling in the paddock. Of course, it wouldn't be easy for Mercedes to part ways with a driver they've nurtured through their academy. But the reality is that this situation might come to pass, especially if Verstappen is available in 2026. When the conversation turned to a possible deal between Red Bull and Russell, Christian Horner stressed that the team must take a proactive approach and consider options beyond their current pool of drivers. He elaborated, "We aren't afraid to look outside our driver pool. Russell's contract is up at the end of next year, and ignoring that would be a mistake." Horner's comments were not well received by Toto Wolf, who believes Red Bull's current slump is driving them to stir things up within other teams. But if you think about it, Wolf has been openly discussing a potential Verstappen move to Mercedes ever since news of the three-time champion's dissatisfaction came to light. So Horner's remarks aren't mere speculation or a reason for the F1 community to get upset. They simply reflect the reality of Russell's contract situation with Mercedes. Russell's contract runs out in 2025, and while Mercedes has a history of extending driver contracts as late as possible like they did with both Hamilton and Russell at the end of 2023, the situation within the Silver Arrows will look different in a couple of years. Wolf has been clear that Antonelli deserves an F1 seat. He has even mentioned regretting the decision to miss out on signing Verstappen back when the Dutchman was still climbing through the junior series. This statement shows just how much confidence Wolf places in the 18-year-old. While Antonelli's F2 results might not be extraordinary, they don't fully showcase his potential. His performance in various test runs with Mercedes' F1 machinery has left a strong impression on key personnel, including future race engineer Peter Bonington and technical director James Allison. These impressive tests have created quite a resume for Antonelli, even before he's had an official F1 race weekend as a Mercedes driver. However, with high expectations comes immense pressure to deliver what the team anticipates. Should Antonelli live up to these expectations, Russell's position could indeed be under threat. Adding to the uncertainty are rumors started by Bradley Lord about Mercedes aggressively pursuing Verstappen for 2026. While these statements may be false, they don't completely rule out the possibility of such a scenario. We all recognize Verstappen's immense value in Formula One, and if he decides to leave Red Bull, there wouldn't be a single team that wouldn't try to sign him. In this race, Mercedes and Aston Martin would be at an advantage. If the Brackley-based team can persuade Verstappen that they have what it takes to secure championships from 2026 onwards, it's not hard to envision the three-time world champion switching gears and embarking on a new chapter in his career. Such a move would further threaten Russell's future with Mercedes. Toto Wolf has tried to ease the brewing storm within his team, especially since these ongoing comments might provoke Russell to consider a move elsewhere. Addressing this, Wolf stated, Horner is always stirring things up, it's part of the game. George is a Mercedes driver and has been forever, and hopefully will remain so. However, the reality is that Russell doesn't have a forever contract with Mercedes, as it is set to expire in 2025. Russell's contract ending in 2025 means his future will likely be evaluated alongside Antonelli before Mercedes makes any long-term decisions. At present, Russell has outqualified Hamilton 1-3-5 in their direct battles, yet he trails behind in the Drivers' Championship. This gap primarily results from the 2 races where Hamilton scored wins, while Russell failed to secure points due to incidents at Silverstone and his disqualification at Spa. Despite these setbacks, Russell is only 19 points behind Hamilton, having managed this with fewer wins and podiums than his teammate. Helmut Marko has also weighed in on the possibility of Russell joining Red Bull. While directly comparing the performances of the 2 Mercedes drivers, the 80-year-old contradicted Horner's statement, asserting that Red Bull currently doesn't have a place for Russell. He further elaborated, George Russell is on par with Hamilton in qualifying, if not faster, but he's tied to Mercedes. For now, we are focusing on our junior drivers. Marko's stance is predictable, considering his role in nurturing junior drivers through the competitive ranks of Formula One. This is the path he took with drivers like Ricciardo, Vettel and Verstappen, and more recently with Lawson. His primary task is to groom talent, which explains why he wasn't a big supporter of Perez's extended stay at Red Bull, despite the latter's underwhelming performances. Marko also hinted that by 2026, Verstappen might no longer be part of Red Bull, especially considering the developments happening at Aston Martin. This possibility casts further doubt over Russell's future with Mercedes. It's not that Russell doesn't deserve his spot. On the contrary, he has shown his worth during his 3 seasons with Williams, doing his best to secure a Mercedes seat. However, if Verstappen becomes available, Mercedes could face a tough decision. You can't fit 3 drivers into 2 seats, and passing up on Antonelli, who could very well be the next Verstappen in the sport, might prove impossible for Wolf. He has already expressed regret about missing out on signing Verstappen in his junior years. Another voice weighing in on this situation is Nico Rosberg. He pointed out that Formula One is heavily influenced by politics and strategy, and Horner's recent comments could be a calculated move to put pressure on Mercedes regarding their partnership with Russell post-2026. Rosberg elaborated, "It's politics and strategy, because Horner wants to unsettle Toto. If Toto hears Horner talking about Russell while knowing he doesn't have a contract, it might push him to consider securing George sooner. It's all part of the game." Rosberg further added that Horner's words were like a knife thrown towards Toto, applying pressure to make a decision. Since Russell's contract expires in 2025, Horner could attempt to snatch him up early, locking him in for Red Bull. Whether Russell would even entertain the idea is uncertain, but such comments certainly ramp up the tension for Mercedes. All these discussions show that the silly season in Formula One is far from over. When drivers are under contract pressure, it leads to even more speculation and uncertainty. Russell's situation at Mercedes could be influenced by various factors beyond his performance against Antonelli, such as Verstappen's decision to remain with Red Bull or seek a new team. If Verstappen opts to leave Red Bull and chooses Aston Martin as his next destination, Russell might indeed receive a tempting offer from Red Bull. However, this scenario would put Russell in control since he wouldn't be directly stepping into Verstappen's shoes. But if Wolf decides to handle things the way Ferrari did with Sainz, Russell could find himself in a tight spot if his goal is to continue driving for the Brackley-based squad. The thought of replacing Russell with Verstappen might sound far-fetched, but when you consider Mercedes' ambition and the availability of talent, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. With all these factors in play, one question lingers: do you think Russell moving to Red Bull is a realistic possibility? And if so, could the British driver achieve greater success with the Austrian team compared to his current stint with Mercedes? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out the video on your screen right now for more insights. And that wraps up today's deep dive into the thrilling world of F1 driver politics. The future of George Russell, Mercedes, Red Bull, and even Verstappen has so many twists and turns, just like a racetrack. What do you think? Will we witness a dramatic team switch in the coming seasons? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more exciting F1 updates and analysis. and make sure to ring the bell icon so you never miss out on the latest news in the world of motorsport. Before you go, check out the video appearing on your screen now for more insights into the dynamic world of Formula One. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.